Hi, I'm Tiffany, and this is Towering TBR. Today I'm coming at you with a book haul from Book Outlet. I have been in a serious sci fi mood and was able to pick up several that I think will scratch that itch. So, first, I got To Say Nothing of the Dog by Connie Willis. I don't typically buy mass market paperbacks because I find them more difficult to read, but I have heard that this is a really hilarious book. There is time loops and some sort of like romantic comedy, and it just sounded really interesting, so I decided to give it a try, even though it's not in the format that I would prefer. I also bought The Mountain in the Sea by Ray Naylor. Yeah, Ray Naylor. I actually first heard about this book over on Bookspin's channel. I'll link him in the description below. But this is a first contact with aliens type trope, but instead of aliens, it is sentient octopuses that live in our oceans. Through climate change, they've had to evolve and become smarter. And this is a philosophical type sci fi, which is something I'm interested in really defining my tastes. So I'm excited to get to this one. Another sci fi I picked up was Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. I read Station 11 5 or so years ago and I didn't love it, so I'm a little bit hesitant to pick this up. However, I've heard nothing but praise. It apparently follows three characters through three different time periods, and somehow their story comes together as a whole. So, excited to try this. But if I don't like it, she just may not be the author for me. I literally squealed when I saw We by Yevgeny Zamayatan. This is a modern classic dystopian story that is translated from Russian. This book is said to be an inspiration for both 1984 and Brave New World, and in the book, people kind of work together as like a collective, but the character that we follow, the protagonist, he stands out somehow. And not only is it dystopian, but it's also a social commentary on what was going on in Russia back when this was written. So I'm really excited to give it a try. I have read 1984, and it'll be interesting to see what parallels there are between the two. So I heard about Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer a ton, and a lot of people told me it was kind of horror, evolutionary horror, I guess. But this is a sci-fi novel focused on an Area X, and we're going to be following some scientists as they attempt to kind of map it out and see what all weird stuff happens. I'm not a huge fan of weird stuff, but I've heard so many people talk about this that I thought I need to give it a try. And now that is the last for my science fiction books. If you've been following me for even a decent amount of time, you'll know that I just finished Don Quixote by Miguel Cervantes, and this was so good. I decided I needed my own copy. I annotated the crap out of my library copy, and while I did have a different translation of Don Quixote, when I was doing my research, everybody recommended Edith Grossman's translation, and so I picked up a copy and hopefully can re-annotate all my thoughts. I picked up These Is My Words, The Diary of Sarah Agnes Prine, 1881 to 1901 by Nancy E. Turner. I was recommended this book when someone found out my favorite book is A Tree Grows in Brooklyn by Betty Smith. This focuses on the turn of the 20th century and focuses in the Arizona territories. I think it's a frontier type story. And yeah, when I saw it for just a few dollars, I was like, I should try it. And because if it's anything like my favorite book, I am sure to enjoy it. I read last month The Lost Year by Catherine Marsh. This is a middle grade fiction story focused on the 1932 and 1933 famine of Ukraine. We follow from Matthew's perspective. He's a teen boy stuck at home during COVID lockdown, and his great grandma has a bunch of memories and pictures and documents that need help sorting and organizing. And so he helps her with that. And as he does, we learn more of her story. And it was fast paced, it was informative, and it It even surprised me a little bit, and I absolutely loved it. If you want more thoughts on this, check out my May wrap up because I go into a lot more detail about it. But because I loved this so much, I looked to see what else Catherine Marsh has and picked out Nowhere Boy. This is another historical fiction, this time focused on a Syrian refugee, and he is in a country that doesn't want him, and he meets another boy, and their stories somehow entwine. I think this sounds like it has the potential to be just as good as The Lost Year, so I'm really excited for this. That is all the books that I bought at Book Outlet. Tell me, have you read any of these books, and what were your thoughts on them? Thank you for joining